Welcome to FinStechs.
Great to be here.
Okay, so today, Apple's Vision Pro. But get ready for a bit of a curveball.
Oh.
It seems like maybe there isn't just one Vision Pro coming down the pipeline, but possibly two. A successor and maybe something more affordable.
Yeah, that's the surprising buzz, isn't it? Various reports are suggesting Apple might be looking at, well, a two-pronged strategy here.
A two-pronged strategy,
Yeah.
right? Catering to different markets, maybe?
Exactly, covering the high end and potentially opening up a more accessible entry point into this whole social computing thing.
Okay, well, let's start with the one we actually know, the current Vision Pro. For me, the standout feature, the real surprise, was Optic ID.
Yeah.
I mean, unlocking your device, paying for stuff, getting into secure apps, just by looking at it. How reliable is that? Is it actually secure?
Well, it's surprisingly sophisticated. It uses a combination of infrared cameras and LEDs. They map the unique patterns in your iris.
Your iris pattern, okay. Like fingerprints, but for your eyes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently it's incredibly unique and therefore secure. That same system, the eye tracking part, is also how you navigate.
Right, the eye tracking. That blew me away, too. No controllers needed. Just look and tap your fingers.
Exactly. It allows for really precise interaction, typing on virtual keyboards, selecting things. And importantly, they stress that iris data, that biometric info, is processed securely right there on the device. It doesn't go up to the cloud.
Which is good to hear. Addresses some privacy concerns right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the premium experience. Now, the plot twist, this rumored cheaper version, codename N107.
That's the one, yeah.
N107.
What are the potential trade-offs? What are the sort of surprising corners they might cut to hit a lower price? We're hearing maybe $1,500 to $2,500.
Yeah, that's the rumored range. And here's
Yeah.
maybe the biggest potential surprise. It might need to be tethered
Tethered, as in connected by a wire, to what?
to an iPhone or maybe even a Mac to borrow its processing power. Whoa. Okay, that's a massive difference from the standalone Vision Pro we have now. A really surprising change for affordability.
It really would be a fundamental shift in how you'd use it.
Okay, so tethering is one possibility. What else might be on the chopping block to save costs?
Well, you'd likely see fewer external cameras and sensors.
Fewer cameras. What does that impact?
It could mean, perhaps surprisingly, less accurate hand tracking, maybe a less convincing blend of the virtual and real world, less immersion overall.
Gotcha. Less immersion. What about the chip inside? The current one has the M2, right?
Right. The rumor for the cheaper one is maybe an A-series chip like you find in iPhones. Still powerful, but definitely a step down from the M-series.
Okay, A-series instead of M2. And I read something surprising about eyesight potentially being removed.
Yes, that's another potential cost-saving measure. Removing that external display that shows a representation of the user's eyes to people nearby.
That changes the social interaction aspect quite a bit, doesn't it? Makes it feel a bit more closed off.
It could, yeah. It was designed to make the device feel less isolating. Removing it would certainly be noticeable.
And the displays you actually look through, can they really compromise much there? Isn't that the core experience?
That's the tricky part. They'd still aim for high resolution, definitely. But maybe not the same level of brightness or color range or refresh rate as the premium model. It's a balancing act.
Right, balancing cost and experience.
Yeah.
So we've got potentially different hardware, different features, but running the same brain, right? Vision OS.
Presumably, yes. Vision OS is the foundation.
What are some of the maybe surprising ways you interact with Vision OS itself? You mentioned eye tracking.
Yeah, it's this combination, really. Eye tracking tells the system where you're looking, hand gestures act like the click, and then you've got voice commands, too.
So eyes, hands, and voice.
It allows you to do things like arrange app windows in the space around you, create these digital personas for video calls.
Visual avatars, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And experience spatial video, 3D movies, or even wrap yourself in these really immersive 360-degree environments. They mentioned about 13 of those at launch.
Wow, okay. Floating windows, digital personas, immersive scenes. It sounds like a whole new way of, computing. You mentioned different views, too. Apps, people, environments.
Yeah, think of them as different modes or spaces within the OS. Apps view is, where you access your applications, but spatially arranged.
Okay.
People view is focused on communication, connecting with others, using those personas. And environments view lets you replace your surroundings with those dynamic virtual scenes we talked about.
Got it. So, pulling it all together, the big takeaway seems to be Apple potentially playing two different games here. One super premium Vision Pro, pushing all the tech boundaries.
Right.
And maybe a second, more affordable one, making some, well, surprising cuts to get the price down.
Exactly. A premium tier and an accessible tier, entering the market almost simultaneously. It's a fascinating strategy if the reports are accurate.
It really is. So here's a final thought to chew on. How could having these two distinct approaches, the no-compromise version and this potentially tethered, slightly stripped down, but more affordable option, change things, not just for how we might use this tech, but for spatial computing becoming, an everyday thing? What kind of surprising uses might pop up specifically because there's a cheaper way in?